Hello, Sagittarius, my friends. This is your reading for the week of May 6th, 26th, or whenever you find it and it resonates. So as I was preparing to do this, a reading, your sign flashed in front of my face. So I said, okay, that's what we're doing next. And the phrase was, slow and steady wins the race. Now, as I started to sit with your energy, and ask the guides for guidance on this, what I was getting was that sense that there may be a situation for the part of the collective that I'm reading for, because it won't be for everybody, as you know, that for those who I'm reading for, there may be a situation that feels not necessarily urgent, but that is calling you to do something, that is causing you to feel as though it's almost like it's pulling you out of yourself with a certain kind of force that may be taking you a little bit off center from who you know yourself to be when you're at your best, when you're aligned with your heart and with your mind all nicely lined up in a way that feels balanced. I get the isolation card, but the thing that pops off that card to me is that the sense of isolation doesn't really stem from disconnection from the people of the world around us. It doesn't start there, at least. It starts from a disconnection from ourselves. What you're being asked to do is to lean into a kindness with yourself. So if I go back to that phrase, slow and steady wins the race, it comes with that feeling, as I'm looking at these cards and talking to the guides, of you sitting back and going, okay, I'm not going to be forced into a reaction here. Now, what's slow, and for me, okay, slow and steady wins the race, it doesn't mean if you're doing something, you have to deliberately stop or it's more the energy with which you do it, I think, is what I'm trying to say. So it may be that you are still proceeding at the same pace, but you are proceeding with a different energy, or are proceeding with a grounded energy in a way that allows you to be able to deal with the situation with the kind of energy that is gentle, that has a quality of empathy to it, consideration to it, but consideration for everybody concerned. And you first of all, because it's about you getting back into connection with your inner self. And I also get this sense that you might be feeling as though you've got to be doing something better than you're doing it. Because you've got the take a break card. Take a break from trying to perfect yourself, from trying to make yourself a better communicator. It's as though, or your spiritual practice or self-discipline. Take a break from that. For me, within this context, says, are you feeling somehow deficient in terms of how you can handle this situation? Now, what I love too is that on top of this, you get the trying versus doing card. Now, that's once you take steps or action towards a goal or intention, it ceases to be trying and becomes doing. So, in other words, any steps you've taken towards whatever this situation is doing it. Whether it's slow or fast, it's still doing it, okay? But you're being asked within this context, if you're not rushing, if you're not feeling like you're not doing enough, like you've got to do something better, that allows you to step back into that sense of kindness for yourself and everybody else, and also notice what you are doing, what you are providing, how you are managing whatever the situation is. Now, let's take a look at that extra card there, or that other card. I'd like some more, please. Yeah, okay. So you are being asked within this context, please be mindful of what your choices are, but specifically your choice to monitor your state of mind, okay? Every time you reject an opportunity to feel good or positive, or to feel happy or loving to yourself or kind to someone else, Stop. Notice what you're choosing instead. Now, sometimes what I notice is that it's really easy when we're feeling out of control in a situation to get angry. And that's almost like an antidote to the fear that's behind the loss of control, or the fear of loss of control, because it's still a fire energy. So sometimes when we feel like we're losing control of something, or when we're afraid of an outcome, we will go into almost like an attack or an anger energy. It's another fiery energy. And sometimes it will just be passion. Sometimes it will be passion in terms of obsessions, addictions, things of that nature. Something that is really has got momentum, that is really pushing you to do something. But this is saying, no, you have the option. By staying in connection to yourself inside, you'll be able to notice what your mind is doing, to really offer yourself the opportunity to feel differently. And there we go, there's the fear card. So underlying this is fear. Notice each time today you reject a reason to feel happy, loving to yourself, kind to someone. And, there's a range of different possibilities here that are positive that you could potentially be refusing. And one of them is if you're dealing with a situation where somebody's in need or not in a great space, you could feel guilty for feeling happy in the midst of them feeling good, bad, scared, whatever. So it's up to you to decide in that moment, and to please realize that kindness and compassion is good for everybody, okay? To yourself especially, it's that old, put the oxygen mask on yourself before you do it for anybody else. But really, truly, you being worried and upset about somebody does not help them. It's just simply your way of managing your own fears around it and your own negative emotions, whether it's fear, whether it's guilt, but underlying, we all are always dealing with fear or love. So you're being asked to remember, you're checking out your choices about where you want to be and how you're thinking. Go back to love as an energy that you embody. And instead of worrying about whether or not you're being loving enough to someone, do your best to go back into experiencing that state of love, experiencing love in your body. And as you experience love in your body, it's literally like you wake that energy up in every cell, because that really is the ground substance of every cell and every atom of our being. So put yourself into that state where you can feel love, where you can embody that. And then if there's somebody or something that is a problem for you, you can just imagine that love radiating out to it, or it being embodied by it. Because remember, love is the ground substance of everything, even in that situation, even in those people. So you can get to be that tuning fork for them just by feeling it for yourself, which ultimately is going to be excellent for you. And then secondarily, okay? That's it, my very dear Sagittarians. I hope this helps. And yeah, I'll see you around.